Take back your power or stand in your power. This is a phrase we hear quite often in the spiritual community, the personal development community, and that's because we often find ourselves in situations that we give our power away. We self-abandon to meet the needs of other people. And when it comes to this 3D reality matrix, we are constantly giving our power away, and we are letting the cabal, win. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name's Christina and I empower people on their spiritual and healing journey. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's my mission to spread my message to as far as possible and to support and guide people just like you. So with that being said, let's dive into the video. If you're new to the term 3D, The Matrix, I suggest you go and watch the film The Matrix because it's not far from the truth. When you begin to wake up, and I'm not just talking about being woke or waking up to some kind of corruption in the world, I'm talking about spiritually waking up in your whole being. You unplug yourself from that matrix, just like Neo when he became unplugged from all of those devices, those little suction things all over his body, and he was reborn. And that is what the matrix is. We are plugged in constantly to this false illusion of the matrix. And that is what the 3D reality matrix is. It's actually an inverted matrix that has been designed on purpose by the dark ones, the elites, whatever label you like to call them. And so when we are in this 3D reality matrix, they use fear, manipulation to keep humanity from knowing their true power. Because what happens if we stood in our power? They would fall, they would crumble, because it's us, the everyday average person, that is the backbone to their corporations, to their systems. And if we stopped doing whatever it is, paying bills, if we stopped feeding into their fear tactics and into their system, it crumbles and it collapses. So this means we are living in a world that is run on systems, run by corporations that these dark ones have designed on purpose to keep humanity dumbed down, slaves, in fear, because they know the human mind, if we are fearful, that kicks in our survival mechanisms, our fight, flight, freeze or fawn. And so they use fear to keep us in a state of stress, and then we want to do what they say because then it feels safe. And so then it creates order, it creates control, and that's just how they like it. And what are these systems I'm talking about if you are new here? I'm talking about the education system, I'm talking about the medical system, I'm talking about how corporations are run, I'm talking about the 9-to-5 system. That everyday 9-to-5 system keeps us in a state of flight, fight, freeze, stressed out because we have to get up in the morning, slog our way to work, and that is not what a human is meant to do. That's why we are so stressed out and so much mental health issues going on, because the human body isn't designed for that. So when we are falling for these traps, if you call it, getting caught up in these systems because we don't know any better, because we are fearful, because they use tactics like you need money to survive, And they use tactics for us to just survive rather than thrive. So we are divine beings from Creator, from God, from the universe. We are designed like that. So we have everything we need within us. And they, whoever you want to label them as, knows this. So then they create tactics to keep us from owning and standing in our true divine essence, our true divine power. And a lot of these things are actually just distraction tactics. And the Romans were amazing at this. The Roman Empire, which are just part of the dark, just going back centuries, they are part of the dark ones. The Romans were the ones that created distractions. What do you think the Colosseum was? It was to keep the people entertained, distracted from their whatever they were planning to do. So then the people didn't rise up. The people were able to be controlled easier. With the Romans, often, if they felt like things were getting a bit out of control, the people were standing up, maybe doing a bit of rioting, they would create some kind of distraction, some tactic, as well as force and all that they did if people weren't obeying their ways, their rules. So that is where the original design of the distraction came from. So then we are easy to control. We're not rising up and seeing our true divine nature, because we are just dumbed down, looking, not researching. We are not discovering who we are. And that's what they do. We are dumbed down, screen in our face, and not being present in our true divine essence that we are. Nobody's going out in nature. I don't know any kid anymore that goes out and plays. Like, I take my son out every single day because it's so important to be in nature, to discover our true self. And when we are in fear of things they have control over, like the thing that happened several years ago, the big thing across the world, a lot of people gave them their power. They let the fear get the better of them because they didn't know any better. They were just fearful of their life. And often these dark ones, if they use fear of death, and if fear of death is in the equation, that is not source creation energy. That is dark energy, then forcing a fear upon us, because there is nothing to be afraid of with death. It's just the beginning. This is just the physical reality we are experiencing, because we are spiritual beings simply having a human experience in this 3D consciousness right now. So when they use this tactic, this fear of death, you know that that is not coming from source creation. And all this is programmed from us since birth. And when we are born into this inverted matrix, they program us with the illusion of separation, when in fact we are one collective consciousness. And now a lot of people in the world right now are waking up to this. They are waking up, taking their power back, and realize they are fucking powerful. We are true divine beings, and they are the ones that need to go. That means when we realize we are one, we can take our power back and come together as one. But there is still separation within the spiritual community. There is still ego in the spiritual community. There is still people saying, well, you haven't got your chakras aligned. Well, you're still in fear. Well, I'm better than you because I'm more spiritual than you. No, spirituality means different things to everybody. That is ego still. And that is when we know that's fear. The ego is fearful all the time. And all this programming forms the ego. So we are in fear a lot of the time. And so we do have the power. If we stopped pumping into their systems, it would collapse. And when I was at a protest once, it was to do with the strikes going on in here in the UK. I think it was last October. I went down to Bristol and we did a march, and there was a couple of young people there that were holding a banner, and I can't remember exactly what the banner said, and we were walking through protesting, and I remember them saying, I feel powerful, or this is making me feel empowered. I think they said powerful, and I just turned and said to them, that's because you do have the power. We are the ones with the power. Strip away all the spirituality stuff, we are still the ones that have the power. If we stop paying into the system, stop being fearful all the time, and come together, we can rise up and they will be gone, it will crumble. But we are so in fear because that's not our fault. Because it's our survival, the ego, that is telling us, no, you can't do that because that's not the way. And just you on your own, it's going to be you on your own doing that. Nobody else is going to join in with that. You're going to be the only one at the protest. And so we are keeping ourselves trapped in this prison cell when you hold the key to unlocking that prison cell. You have everything you need within you because you are divine source creation. And this is why we came here in this time, to let this old world crumble and to be there for the people in order to help them wake up and realize they have the power and that they are these divine spiritual beings having a human experience, and there's nothing to be fearful of. Maybe think, well, this is all well and good, this little motivational speech, but how do I stop giving my power away? How do I stop being so fearful? And I say to everybody, this one thing can really improve your outlook on life, the way you view the world, is stop watching the news. The news is actually owned and controlled by these elites. So what do you think they're going to be doing? They're not going to be sending you out the love and light fairy through the screen, are they? They're going to be sending out messages of fear, manipulation, and creates anxiety. Oh my God, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And now what they are doing is trying to be the divine God with this AI technology. They are trying to be the master programmer, because that's kind of what it is, the God source creation. He is the master, or she, he and she, as I like to say, there's a God and goddess. So they are trying to play God, but it won't win. And I'm telling you now, you have the power. You take back your power. Stop watching the news. Go within. Drop the ego identities. Come together. Stop projecting onto people, because that is fear. That is wounds. That is ego. And start filling your whole being up with new programs, with new beliefs. Surround yourself with things that only raise your vibration or raise your frequency. But first it means going into the shadow, because we have to see the old world crumble. We have to let the darkness, the shadow, be seen and come out to light. The light's got a shine on it. And so that's why the world can seem chaos before we ascend into higher states of consciousness. We have to see the dark. And sometimes that's why I like to think as well that the dark ones are part of the master plan. They are the ones helping us to wake up, to see our true divinity. So there's a bit of paradox there. So I hope this video has been really helpful for you today. Check out this video next, where I dive deep into how to overcome your fears. So with that being said, I will see you in that video. Much love.